Welcome back to the 5-Star Life Show. I'm your host, Coach Seth, and I'm joined in the studio with Coach Mia.
Thanks, Seth. So are we going to start talking about the lesson, or where are we going to get into
We'll
today?
dive into the lesson.
Okay.
And for those just tuned in, just a reminder, you can listen to this show anywhere podcasts are streamed. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel at The 5-Star Life. But yeah, so we filmed a little bit ago our first lesson of season number 4 for kids that go through our video curriculum program. We're talking about how to really help kids learn how to break through in leadership. And leadership is one of the most misused words. People don't understand what leadership is, and most people think, I'm not a leader. That's not me. I want to be in the back. I don't want to be in the front. And then some people are like, no, I'm a natural leader. Absolutely. But most people would say, I definitely have questions about me being a leader. And we open up the lesson just by telling kids, like, every one of you is a leader. And a lot of kids don't believe that. But it's because the definitions for leadership are so varied. But the one I love to use that kind of combines all of them and dumbs it down so simply, it comes down to one word: influence. Leadership is simply influence, right? So you influence my life. Whether you're trying to or not, you're influencing my life. Anybody you're around, if they smile at you, they're influencing you. If they give you the stank eye, they're influencing you, right? So anybody and everybody is a leader because we all have influence. We all influence our siblings, our parents, our coworkers, our peers. Like, we influence. I've read that the average person influences about 10,000 people in their lifetime. That's the average person without even trying. So people who are actually thinking about being a leader, thinking about being an influencer, they're impacting massive amounts of people. Again, often it's the simple things. It's smiling at the clerk, right? It's the simple things. But in this lesson, we unpack what we say is the foundation of leadership. The most important person in the world to lead is myself. So, and the reality is most people don't influence themselves. So if you want to be a leader, and if you don't know you're a leader, just pay attention. You're influencing people. But my question is, are you influencing yourself? And we now have the latest neuroscience is really fascinating because it's put real science and real data behind this idea that we have influence. The shocking part is we use very little of it, especially when it comes to leading ourselves. So the average person, literally, 95% of our life is led and ran and orchestrated by the subconscious part of the brain. Crazy.
It is crazy.
That means only 5% of the time are we truly leading our lives. So how does that work? Well, the way we're wired is, if you look at a little baby, say they're 8 months old, a year old, they're learning how to walk, take their first steps. You watch them, it's just so cute and it's so fun. My nephew has a little 8-month-old right now, and you can't take your eyes off an 8-month-old baby. And he's learning to crawl, and he's starting to learn to walk, and he's pulling himself up, and you can see him focusing on everything he's doing. Like, he's straining to take that first, I'm going to pull myself. You can see him thinking about it. He's thinking about where he's putting his hands. He's just trying. He is fully conscious of trying to take that step or take that move with to shuffle his feet. Total consciousness. But very quickly, through repeated practice, walking becomes easy. He gets it down. And so what happens is the brain says, okay, walking is no longer necessary to be front and center. We no longer need to be conscious or aware that we're walking. We can just drop that down to our subconscious, which means sub or beneath consciousness. We're not aware of it. We're not aware of the program. We can now put that in a place we're not aware of. So we don't have a gazillion things in our screen. We'd be overwhelmed with life. If we had to make sure we regulated our heartbeat, if we had to regulate our breathing, if we had to regulate everything that it takes to run our body. So now I've got walking down. It's a subconscious program. Now I can move on. Now I can think about running. And now I can think about learning how to ride a bike. So this is how our bodies and our brains work. So the amazing thing is we have all these programs running. And I talked about kind of the physiological programs. But the thing, and those do run our lives. But there's also these other parts, these other programs that are impacted greatly by the environment we grow up in. So it's literally the people and how they speak to us, because the neuroscience also shows us that our brains for the first, especially 6-7 years, but all the way up to age 12, we are like a giant receiver or antenna, just like it's an antenna. It's receiving information. So you see little kids, they're literally just like, you can just see little kids, they just stare at you. You know why? Because they're antennas. They're just taking in massive amounts of data and information. What is that? That's programming. They're being programmed.
Okay.
For being a person. I'm valued. I'm loved. I'm cared for. I matter. I'm good. I'm bad. I'm annoying. They're taking all of this data in, and it's programming who they think they are. And their brain starts to run these subconscious programs. The older they get, they're programs. So the amazing thing is, the reason that we are moody, the reason that we have attitudes, the reason that we do certain things to default to different things that we don't like about ourselves, why do we do that? Well, it's programs that are running. We don't want to do those things. Programs.
I got a lot of programs running.
Don't we all?
Gosh.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
And what 5-Star Life is on a mission to do is to help parents and kids at a young age start to take hold to create the right programming in the first place. But then, unfortunately, there's people that never, ever tap into what we teach. They go their whole lives with negative programming, and they're stuck in a cycle of negative, all these different cycles. Everywhere they turn, there's programs running that they don't like, and they don't like their life. And they believe the lie that I don't have control. I can't change it, because they believe this myth that it's just who we are. It's a part of my nature. Yes, it's a part of your nature. It's a part of the programming of your nature. But neuroscience shows you can change the programs. That's exciting.
It is exciting.
So the things that are no longer serving you well, you can say, hey, this chronic anxiety or this chronic temper tantrum or this chronic, what you fill in the blank, insecurity, guilt, whatever it is, if it's no longer serving you well, guess what? Congratulations. You now are aware that, hey, there's something I don't like about myself. And instead of feeling shameful and bad like you're a bad person, you instead turn and say, it's a program I need to rewrite over that program. And the answer isn't just trying harder. So we've tried that and I just can't change. No, you can change. You have to rewrite the program.
So how do you do that?
Well, we're just coming up to commercial break. We'll cover that in the next segment. But it starts with awareness. Last night we sat with, we started a new cohort of our SNAP program where it's kids who got into minor trouble and their parents are along with them for this 6-week journey. And it's a new year. And so we started talking about helping them break through in 2024. And the first place to start was sitting down and just using your imagination to think about, what do you want to see happen in 2024? And there were some parents that were all ready to go. There's other parents that they couldn't even think that way because they're in a cycle where they can't even go there. Mm-hmm. There's a mother who she works for her son, single parent mom. She works 7 days a week, 2 jobs, 70 hours.
Wow.
70 hours, 7 days a week. I said, when do you get a day off? She said, I don't. I said, when was the last day you had off? She said, it's been over 3 months. She's in a cycle. We get stuck in cycles.
At 5 Star Life, we are changing the face of culture through education and sports by changing the most important piece of a human being's life, their mindset. If you are interested in being a part of our journey, please visit 5starlife.org for more information on volunteer and donation opportunities.